It was a rainy Tuesday morning when Raymond Steele, the CEO of Orion Tech Industries, arrived at the downtown headquarters earlier than usual. The halls were unusually quiet, the air still tinged with the scent of last night's cleaning chemicals. As he walked past the marble foyer, he caught a faint voice echoing from the far end of the corridor. Not just a voice. Voices, in different languages. Curious, Raymond slowed his pace and turned toward the sound, following it to the employee break room. Inside, the janitor, an older man with graying hair and a quiet demeanor everyone knew as Leo, was on his knees scrubbing coffee stains from the tile. But he wasn't alone. He was speaking fluently to two maintenance workers, one in German, the other in Mandarin. Without hesitation, without a stutter, switching seamlessly between the two, as if it were nothing. Raymond stood frozen. He wasn't the type to eavesdrop. But this wasn't something he could ignore. Leo finished the conversation, gave a humble smile, and turned around, only to find the CEO standing in the doorway, eyes locked on him. "Morning, sir," Leo said calmly, not skipping a beat. Raymond stepped in, brushing past the industrial mop bucket. "Leo, that was German and Mandarin?" Leo gave a sheepish nod. "Yes, sir." "And you speak both fluently?" Leo hesitated, then shrugged. "I suppose I do." Raymond stared at him like he was seeing the man for the first time. "How many languages do you speak?" Leo stood up slowly, wiping his hands on his uniform. 6, fluently. 4 others conversationally. It's just something I picked up over the years." Raymond blinked. 6? The CEO excused himself and walked back to his office. But his mind was spinning. Who was this man they had sweeping floors and emptying trash cans for the last 3 years? The next day, Raymond called Leo to his office. Leo entered quietly, holding his cap in his hands. "You wanted to see me, sir?" Raymond motioned for him to sit. "Tell me your story, Leo. I want to know who you really are." Leo took a deep breath, and for the next hour he talked. He had been a linguist in the military, served as a translator for diplomats in Europe and Asia. After his discharge, he worked odd jobs, moved across countries, never staying in one place for too long. Personal tragedies, a few missteps, and the weight of time had eventually landed him here at Orion Tech, where he preferred to blend into the background. No one ever asked, so he never told. Raymond leaned forward. "Why hide something like that?" Leo smiled faintly. "People treat you differently when they know what you're capable of. Sometimes it's easier to just disappear." But Raymond wasn't about to let talent like that disappear. The next week, Leo was given a new title, Cultural Liaison Officer. Whispers flooded the building. "Did you hear? The janitor has an office now. I saw him having lunch with Raymond. What's going on?" But no one had answers until the quarterly corporate meeting. The employees filed into the glass conference room. Raymond took the podium, his usual confidence laced with a flicker of something new, anticipation. "I want to introduce someone," he said. "Someone many of you have walked past 100 times without ever really seeing." The doors opened, and Leo walked in. No uniform, no mop, just a crisp button-down and a quiet smile. The room was silent. Raymond continued, "This is Leo Ramirez. Until last week, he was our janitor. Today, he's our bridge to the world." Then came the presentation. Leo took over the projector and stunned the audience. He greeted them in French, switched to Arabic, then Japanese, then Russian. Each time he shared a story, a connection, a cultural nuance. He wasn't just fluent, he was captivating. But the real shock came when Leo clicked to the next slide, a live call with potential investors from Tokyo, partners from Berlin, and tech collaborators from Sao Paulo. Leo didn't miss a beat. He translated, facilitated, and even cracked jokes in every language. The employees sat in awe, jaws slack. This wasn't just a janitor. This was a hidden gem that had been polishing their floors while sitting on a mountain of untapped brilliance. But Leo wasn't finished. During a break, a skeptical department head approached him. "This is all very impressive, but book smarts don't build companies." Leo looked him straight in the eye. "No, but understanding people does. And language is the fastest path to understanding." The room fell quiet. By the end of the day, Leo wasn't just respected. He was admired. That week, productivity soared. Morale hit new highs. Departments began requesting cultural training sessions with Leo. The HR team started screening for multilingual skills during recruitment. Even Raymond admitted in a board meeting, "We had a secret weapon in plain sight." We just never bothered to ask his story. But what happened next truly shook the office. A high-profile European client scheduled an emergency visit. Their $1 million deal was about to collapse due to a misunderstanding in translation. The team panicked. The stakes were enormous. Raymond called Leo. "Can you help?" Leo nodded. "I'll need 10 minutes. He entered the meeting room, listened carefully, then began speaking, in perfect Swiss German. The client's icy demeanor thawed instantly. Within 20 minutes, the entire tone of the conversation shifted. Laughs were exchanged. Papers were signed. The deal was saved. As they left, the client pulled Raymond aside. "We came here thinking your company didn't understand us. But that man? He understood us better than our own negotiators." Word spread fast within the company. Leo wasn't just useful, he was essential. He began mentoring interns, consulting on international partnerships, even advising the marketing team on global campaigns. But despite the promotion, the office, the admiration, Leo never lost his humility. Sometimes, early in the morning, employees would still catch him helping the cleaning staff straighten up a room or carry out a trash bin. When someone asked why, he simply said, "Respect has no rank." And just when everyone thought they'd seen the full extent of his talents, Leo revealed something else. One chilly morning, about 2 months after Leo had taken his new position, Raymond found a handwritten note on his desk. It read, "Languages connect people, but sometimes silence speaks louder. Let me show you something tonight. 8 p.m. rooftop." Puzzled but intrigued, Raymond made his way up after hours. The city lights blinked below, casting golden reflections across the glass towers. Leo was already there, leaning on the railing, holding a tablet in one hand. Without a word, he tapped the screen and turned it toward Raymond. A live video played. A young woman in a classroom was teaching children in a small village in Senegal. Another scene showed a man helping refugees navigate paperwork in Greece. Yet another, a group of teenagers in Mexico attending online coding classes. "I used to work with NGOs," Leo said, voice low. "Still do, quietly. Most of the money I make here goes to these projects. Education, translation, technology. They don't need charity. They need someone to speak their language, literally." Raymond didn't know what to say. Leo looked out over the skyline. "You gave me a title, an office. But I never wanted recognition. I just wanted a place where people listened." There was a long pause. Then Raymond smiled. "And you got that, Leo, and gave us more than we ever expected in return." Back downstairs, word of Leo's influence continued to ripple through Orion Tech. Employees started language clubs during lunch breaks. Internal communication became more empathetic, more aware. The company didn't just grow in revenue, it evolved in perspective. 1 year later, during Orion Tech's anniversary gala, Raymond stood at the podium again. "We've expanded to 4 continents, tripled our global partnerships, but none of that would have been possible." He paused, turning to where Leo sat quietly in the front row. "Without the man who once mopped this very floor." The crowd stood in unison. Applause thundered through the hall. Leo gave a small wave. No speech, no grand display, just a quiet nod, and that same calm smile. But the most stunning part? He still clocked in at 6 a.m. every day. And sometimes, just sometimes, he still carried a mop if someone needed help. Because for Leo, greatness wasn't in titles or accolades. It was in listening, connecting, and never underestimating the quiet man in the corner. And the office was never the same again. If you enjoyed this story and want more powerful, real-feeling narratives like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I post new stories regularly, and trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming next. Thanks for watching.